What is going on, Headliner Nation? Hopefully everyone's doing well out there. Today's show's about to be a banger. And I say that because the NFL season is right around the corner. And if you watch any fantasy football videos on YouTube and then go look at the comment section, it is full of people that want to know if the fantasy football team they just drafted is good or not.
I'm a headliner.
Yeah. So be that this is kind of like rate my team season in the fantasy football industry, here is what we're going to do today. There are 6 members of the Headliners team over here. You got myself, Kyle, Ethan, Mac, Taylor, and Devin. Each one of us went through and drafted a team for 2024. And in today's show, I'm going to show you each one of those teams, but I'm not going to tell you who drafted which team. Instead, I'm going to give each team a name, and then I need you to go down in the comment section and tell us what team do you like the best. Then at the end of the video, I'll reveal who drafted each team, and you can see whose team you voted for. But that doesn't mean we don't want to see your teams as well, because we most definitely do. Just head over to Instagram or head over to X. Post a picture of the team you just drafted for 2024 and then just tag us in the post. In case you're wondering how to find us on each platform, there are links down below in the description. But now is the time where we can dive in to a few of these teams. Let's go ahead and pop up the first one. All right, so here we have the first team. Let's go ahead and go through it. At quarterback, we got Jared Goff. I actually love Jared Goff. Super safe, reliable, great offense overall. Don't hate it. At running back, we got Derrick Henry and Najee Harris. All right, Derrick Henry now in Baltimore, a huge rushing offense. I like it. Najee Harris, everybody knows that I've been somewhat on the Najee bandwagon this season, more so because of where he's being drafted, and we expect Pittsburgh to have a little bit more success running the football this year, so I don't mind that backfield. At wide receiver, CeeDee Lamb and Chris Olave. Well, we know Lamb just got paid. Olave, once again, the top target in New Orleans. Don't hate him as a wide receiver too. Then we got Pat Freiermuth. We're going double Steeler here, it looks like. Hopefully Arthur Smith doesn't absolutely tank this team. At the flex spot, DJ Moore and Terry McLaurin. Don't hate it. It's a little bit boom or bust for me. I do think that Terry takes a step forward this year, but now DJ Moore is having to worry about the likes of Fat Keenan Allen and Rome Odunze and Cole Kmet and Gerald Everett and DeAndre Swift and a rookie quarterback. Should I continue to go on here? He's going to have big weeks, but I just don't know if they're consistent. Then at defense, holy crap, we're going full-on Steelers mode here with the Steelers defense, and then the kicker, Will Reichert. Random. Okay, on the bench, what do we got? Chris Godwin. Love the potential bounce back for Godwin this year. Like that. Cortland Sutton. Gonna be the number 1 in Denver. Can Bo Nix give him some clean balls this year? Then we got Ezekiel Elliott. What's that backfield gonna look like between him, Rico Dowdle, and now Dalvin Cook? Kind of probably going to be a fantasy nightmare, but touchdown upside probably still going the way of Zeke. Then we got Tyler Algier, arguably one of the best handcuffs in the league. If anything were to happen to Bijan, Tyler Algier is going to have a ginormous role. Rashid Shaheed, a guy you know I loved all off season long, going to get an increased target share in New Orleans with no Michael Thomas. And then we got Kendry Miller. So they ended up going double Saints here at the end. And even though I don't hate Kendry Miller, we know he's currently banged up, would really need something to happen to Alvin Kamara as well for him to have a huge role. So looking at this team, I'm naming it the Lamb of Godwin. If you like this team, comment that down below in the comment section after we've gone through all 6 teams. All right, now we're going to the second team here. We start off at quarterback with CJ Stroud. He's a top 5 guy for me this year. I like the pick there. Great overall offense with the likes of Nico Collins, Stephon Diggs, Tank Dell, Dalton Schultz, Joe Mixon. Tons of options. Huge potential ceiling for CJ Stroud. And then at the running back position, they went with Joe Mixon. They got the Houston stack, but not with a wide receiver. So now they're going to capture the rushing upside and the passing upside in this offense. I like it. At the second running back, Alvin Kamara. A lot of people off the Kamara bandwagon this year, but as a running back too, for where he's being drafted, especially in any type of league that has PPR scoring, Alvin Kamara is a solid RB2 with huge upside. We've seen it before. At wide receiver, we got Amon-Ra St. Brown. In my opinion, the safest first-round wide receiver that you can draft in 2024. Then Devontae Adams. Now we know it's Gardner Minshew under center. Devontae Adams going to see huge volume. At tight end, Jake Ferguson. We've been talking about him all offseason long as a great sleeper pick at the tight end position. Then at the 2 flex spots, we got Aaron Jones and Chris Godwin. Now, Aaron Jones is a proven producer when he's on the field. The biggest issue is when is he on the field? So we're going to have to take a look at this team's depth to make sure we still got that warm fuzzy. At the other flex spot, it's Chris Godwin. Chris Godwin has an opportunity this year to put up huge numbers and surprise everyone. They're putting him back in the slot in 2024. He wasn't there the entire season of 2023 until the end of the season, and then he finished on a hot streak, so we know Baker likes him there in the slot. At defense and kicker, we got the Browns and Butker, and then on the bench, what do we got? We got Austin Eckler, a great bench stash in Austin Eckler. Is he what he used to be? No, but as your running back, in this case, what, 4? Abso-freaking-lutely. Then we got Khalil Shakir, another player I've been talking up all offseason long, could be the leading receiver in Buffalo this season. Then Dontavian Wicks, a huge up-and-comer in Green Bay. We know that Christian Watson is a little bit hit or miss when it comes to availability. Dontavian Wicks, if given an opportunity, could put up some big-time numbers. Jalen Polk in New England, he could be their wide receiver 1 here. Great depth at the wide receiver position here for this team for sure, especially with Shakir, Wicks, and Polk on the bench. Then we got Patty F. Pat Freiermuth on the bench as a backup tight end to Jake Ferguson. And then lastly, Tyrone Tracy Jr. of the New York Giants. Now, obviously, the New York Giants running game is not something to get overly excited about, but really he's competing with Devin Singletary, which is no elite talent to try to beat out. He's looked good at times in preseason, had an injury scare. Not bad bench depth right there as the running back, 5 on this team. So if this is the team you like, you need to vote for Amon-Ra Doggin down below in the comment section. I know exactly what you're thinking. Jake is not mature enough to do things like this, and I totally agree. All right, on to the third team. And when we pull up this team, we see Jaden Daniels as the quarterback, and honestly, a lot of people think that Jaden Daniels is being slept on this year. I don't feel like he is. He has great potential, but the problem with it is there are so many high-end quarterbacks that you can't pick 15 to 20 guys to shove into a top 12. I honestly think that we could see 20 quarterbacks this season have great fantasy years. Jaden Daniels is one of them. At the running back position, we got Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley. And that right there is about as solid of a backfield as you can possibly get. We know Derrick Henry, we talked about him earlier in Baltimore with that touchdown upside. Saquon Barkley, now playing on arguably the best team with the best offense and the best offensive line he's had maybe in his entire career. He could have a huge season as long as he's able to punch it into the end zone and doesn't lose out on touches to Jalen Hurts. Then at wide receiver, we have Mike Evans and DJ Moore. Mike Evans is almost a lock for 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns a year. The ceiling not overly crazy high, but still super solid. Then we got DJ Moore as the wide receiver 2. I love him at least as a wide receiver 2. Wouldn't want him to be my wide receiver 1. Like we mentioned earlier with the target share there in Chicago, it's going to be hard for him to be consistent. At tight end, we got George Kittle. Love George Kittle. Love the ceiling of George Kittle. The worst part about George Kittle is there are so many options in the San Francisco offense. His production is kind of inconsistent as well, kind of like a DJ Moore. So this team looking a little bit boom or bust so far. At flex, we got David Montgomery, one of the safest and best flexes you can have in 2024. Love that pick. And then we have George Pickens as well. Do not screw this up, Arthur Smith. It doesn't matter if it's Justin Fields or if it's Russell Wilson. George Pickens has the potential for a 1,500-yard season this year because there's really no one else at the wide receiver position to throw the ball to down the field consistently. At defense and kicker, we got the Ravens and Fairbairn. Then on the bench, what do we got? Okay, we see Chuba Hubbard. He's going to have some early season value, right? He's going to be the starting running back in Carolina to start the year. Then we have Jalen Wright, the running back 3 in Miami. But here's the thing that I love about Jalen Wright. So many people, almost everyone on earth, expects either Raheem Mostert or Devon Achane to suffer some sort of an injury this season. If that happens, Jalen Wright is going to score many fantasy points, so I love that pick here. Then we got Gabe Davis, another guy, boom or bust in this offense. Then we got Tyrone Tracy here again. We just mentioned him with team number 2. Maybe looking for those younger guys to overtake a role late in the season, along with Braylon Allen as well. Everybody loves Breece Hall. If something happens to Breece Hall, Braylon Allen can fill that role nicely. And then another rookie here, end ending it with 3 straight rookies. What is that? 4 rookies on the bench. It's Xavier Leggett of the Carolina Panthers. Now, I will fully admit that Deontay Johnson is probably going to be the target hog in this offense, but when it comes to those big plays, those yards after the catch, that's going to be Xavier Leggett. They invested an early round draft pick on him to use him for a reason. Bryce Young needs those big time playmakers. He's not always going to have a ton of time in the pocket. He's got to get the ball in this guy's hands and let him do something with it. So, all right, now that we've gone through this team, I'm going to name this one my third Leggett. Now, if this is the team that we've gone through and you absolutely love it, that's what you need to comment down below. But all right, real quick, before we get into the next team, going through some of these names has got me thinking here a little bit. Who out there in Headliner Nation is ready for some player pick'ems on Underdog Fantasy in 2024? I know we have so much fun with this each and every year, and I'm looking forward to doing it again this season. Now, if you don't have an Underdog Fantasy account, it is not too late. Head over to Underdog Fantasy or download the app. Sign up for a new account using the referral code HEADLINERS when you do so. Then, all you need to do is make a minimum $10 deposit and we can start making some picks together. Now, if you follow those steps, you're going to find a little bit of a surprise in your account. The first one being a Travis Kelce free pick that's waiting on you in your lobby right now. All the dude needs to get is 1 yard in week 1 and you're going to be set. But that's not it. You're also going to get a first-time deposit bonus of up to $1,000 in bonus cash. If you haven't signed up yet, now is the time to do so and join the squad. We'll be talking about these player pick'ems all season long in our videos. It's definitely something that if you're interested in it, you need to stay subscribed all season long so we can win some money together on Underdog Fantasy. But all right, back to some more teams. All right, so here we go with Team 4. The first thing I realized is this screenshot looks different than the other ones. It's kind of messing with me here a little bit, but let's take a look at the team. At quarterback, we got Anthony Richardson, super high ceiling. At one point last year, we saw the dude play less than 20 snaps in the game and score over 20 fantasy points. The dude can put points up on the board. A little bit more boom or bust. We really don't know what that exact ceiling is just yet, and can he stay healthy? At running back, we got James Cook and Raheem. You know what? Yes, he still is a damn near must-start Mostert of the Miami Dolphins. Now, Buffalo's going to be looking for playmakers, so James Cook is going to have a large role. He had a great season last year, and a lot of people really don't talk about it. Speaking of great season, Raheem Mostert couldn't find a way out of the end zone last year, scoring over 20 touchdowns. That probably doesn't happen again, but in that Miami offense is aplenty. At wide receiver, we got some alphas. We got Jamar Chase and rookie Marvin Harrison Jr. Now, a lot of people worried about Jamar Chase. Don't be worried about Jamar Chase. He's going to be out there. We already know what he is. Then Marvin Harrison Jr., the number 1 rookie wide receiver in an offense that desperately needs a number 1 wide receiver. Kyler Murray is going to be looking his way quite a bit, and we know that Kyler Murray has supplied a top fantasy wide receiver before in DeAndre Hopkins. At tight end, we got Evan Ingram, highly underrated. Dude sees volume year in and year out, especially in that Jacksonville offense. At the flex spots, we got Terry McLaurin and Chris Godwin. 2 names we've seen on a couple different teams already here in this show. Terry being that deep ball wide receiver, now with a young rookie quarterback in Jaden Daniels that likes to throw the deep ball. And then Chris Godwin, I already mentioned his move back to the slot has got my tail wagging almost all off season long. Then at defense, we got the Cowboys. We went double Cowboy here on special teams with the Cowboys defense and Brandon Aubrey at kicker. On the bench, we got Braylon Allen. We've talked about him earlier on another team. If anything were to happen to Breece Hall, Braylon Allen's going to have a huge role. Then we got another rookie in Brock Bowers, the rookie tight end out of Las Vegas. How many targets is he going to see? Don't forget, 2 years ago, they drafted Michael Mayer. They still have Jacoby Myers and Devontae Adams, but the dude could be an elite tight end right off the bat. We've seen him be all over the field already. Then we have another rookie in Caleb Williams, another quarterback here on the bench in case something were to happen to Anthony Richardson. I don't mind quote-unquote handcuffing a quarterback if you're taking a risk on Anthony Richardson. But then we're keeping the rookie train going, it looks like, with Adonai Mitchell of the Colts on the bench. Actually, back-to-back Colts wide receivers here. Adonai Mitchell, Josh Downs, they're stacking him with Anthony Richardson. Now, we know Downs is a little bit banged up right now, but that could lead to some more early season volume for Adonai Mitchell. Then when Downs comes back, I can see it. That's a lot of Colts right there. And then lastly, Jahan Dotson, now part of the Philadelphia Eagles. All this guy really needs is targets to have a great season. Is he going to get targets with the likes of A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, Saquon Barkley? It's going to be tough. But there is no denying talent-wise, the dude is a great wide receiver. So, if this is the team you like, I'm naming this one Rock Out with Your Brock Out. So that's what you need to leave in the comment section down below if this is the team that you like the best. But all right, now we're going over to team number 5. What do we have here at the quarterback position? Jordan Love. And honestly, there's a lot to love about Jordan Love in 2024. I love the wide receiver group that he has. A young group of wide receivers in Jaden Reed, Dontavian Wicks, Romeo Dobbs, Christian Watson for like 4 or 5 games a year. Then we also have Josh Jacobs in the backfield. Love the floor each and every week for Jordan Love. Then at the running back position, we got Bijan Robinson and Raheem. Yes, he's still a must-start Mostert of the Miami Dolphins. Back-to-back teams here with Mostert as their running back too. I don't need to say a whole lot about Bijan. He's going to thrive without Arthur Smith. Raheem Mostert still going to be a part of that big-time offense in Miami. At the wide receiver position, we got Mike Evans and Cooper Kupp. Mike Evans was on a team earlier here as well. The safe, reliable, 1,000-yard, 10-touchdown type of guy. Cooper Kupp coming into the season healthy for the first time in a couple years, and we already know that Matthew Stafford loves to look the way of Cooper Kupp. I'm not taking anything away from Puka Nacua, but Cooper Kupp is still a thing in Matthew Stafford's eyes. Then at tight end, we got Kyle Pitts. So we have double Falcon here in the starting lineup with Kyle Pitts as the tight end. Now, obviously with Kirk Cousins under center in Atlanta, that is a big boost to the potential of Kyle Pitts. Look what Kirk Cousins did last year with TJ Hawkinson in Minnesota. He likes to look the way of the tight end. Hopefully Kyle Pitts can hang on to it this year. Then at the flex spots, we got Terry McLaurin and Tony Pollard. Talked about Terry McLaurin a lot. He's on a lot of these teams for sure. At the other flex spot, though, we got Tony Pollard. And a lot of people are like, you know what? I'm not overly interested in Tony Pollard because he's splitting touches with Tajay Spears. But don't forget, that is a good thing. When Tony Pollard was a bell cow last year, his efficiency absolutely tanked and he disappointed people. He thrives in lesser roles. Then at defense, we got the Jets and Justin Tucker at kicker. And then on the bench, what do we got? We got Jamison Williams. Potential, right? A lot of potential, a lot of unrealized potential in Detroit. They say his role is going to grow this year. If it does, great bench stash. Matthew Stafford on the bench as well could pair with Cooper Kupp if something were to happen to Jordan Love. Then Adonai Mitchell. People loving some Adonai Mitchell out there. Jalen Wright once again. We talked about him earlier. If anything happens to Raheem Mostert, Jalen Wright has a role. So I love that Jalen Wright was a handcuff here on this team to Raheem Mostert. Then we got Dontavian Wicks and Isaiah Likely, the backup tight end in Baltimore, but we know Mark Andrews is just struggling to stay on the field at this point. If he misses time, Isaiah Likely is the guy who sees that increased volume in Baltimore, a Baltimore offense that doesn't have a whole lot of pass-catching weapons, so I don't mind the bench stash. So now that we've gone through this team, if this is the team that you like, the comment that you need to leave down below is 99 problems, but a Pitts ain't one. But all right, that's only going to leave us our 6th and final team. So let's put it on the screen. Let's see what we got. And right off the bat, it's Joe Burrow, Joe Burr, Joe Shiesty, Joe Mama, whatever it is you want to call him. If he can stay healthy, he's going to put up fantasy points. Look at the backfield, though. We got Breece Hall and Travis Etienne. You could potentially have 2 top 10 running backs on this team. Breece Hall could make a push for the overall number 1 spot this season. And then Travis Etienne, I don't know why people dislike this guy so much. Is he overly efficient? No. Is he going to be top 10, top 12? Yeah, especially in that offense, there's tons of touchdown opportunity. Then at the wide receiver position, we got DK Metcalf and George Pickens. Now, honestly, I have nothing against DK Metcalf. It wasn't a DK issue last year. It was a Geno Smith issue. So if Geno can turn it around this year, DK is going to put up great numbers. Same thing with George Pickens, right? Don't screw this up, Arthur Smith. No matter who plays quarterback, Pickens has a huge potential in 2024. At tight end, it's Jake Ferguson. Again, a lot of people are falling in love with Jake Ferguson at the tight end position this year. Look at the flex spot. Also has James Cook. So Breece Hall, Travis Etienne, and James Cook on this team. Probably, I would have to say, the best running back group of all the teams we've looked at here today. Then also Rashee Rice at the flex spot. We know that his court date isn't until December. We could have 14 weeks of Rashee Rice. Now, we know they brought back Juju. They have Xavier Worthy. Hollywood Brown's going to come back early in the season. Tons of weapons there in Kansas City at the wide receiver position, but arguably, Rashee Rice could be the best one to start the year. At defense and kicker, we got the Bears and Justin Tucker, and then on the bench, we got Calvin Ridley. I don't mind that given this team has some, unknowns with DK Metcalf and George Pickens. Calvin Ridley could have an immediate target share, especially because DeAndre Hopkins is banged up. Then we got Jerome Ford. Great pick there now that we know that Nick Chubb is on the PUP list. The issue is Jerome Ford's going to lose value as the season goes on because Chubb is going to get closer and closer to full health and then return. But a great bench stash to start the season. Then we got Cortland Sutton, the number 1 in Denver. Justice Hill, the backup running back in Baltimore. Not a bad thing to have. I don't know if I really would ever start. I feel like if you have to start Justice Hill, you're in a very bad spot, but I understand the thought process here. And then we have Quentin Johnston. Can we see some of the potential of Quentin Johnston this year? There are so many opportunities in this offense for one of these wide receivers to step forward and really be the alpha. Is it going to be Josh Palmer, Ladd McConkey, DJ Chark? Is it going to be Quentin Johnston? It could. And then lastly, Jordan Mason, another great bench stash at the running back position. We know CMC dealing with a calf strain. Elijah Mitchell already on season-ending IR. Jordan Mason could be a thing if CMC is banged up at any time this year. So if this is the team that you've seen and you're like, you know what, this one is my favorite team, the comment that you need to leave down below is how I Metcalf your mother. By doing that, we'll know that that is your favorite team. So there you've seen all 6 teams. We'll go ahead and throw them back up on the screen here just so you can get a little bit of a refresher, and then leave your comment down below with which team do you like the best. Was it Lamb of Godwin, Amon-Ra Doggin, My Third Leggett, Rock Out with Your Brock Out, 99 Problems But a Pitts Ain't One, and How I Metcalf Your Mother? Now I'm going to give you just a few more seconds to leave those comments down below, and then I'm going to reveal who drafted each one of these teams. So hopefully you're leaving those comments now. I know some of you are like pecking at your phone. Some of you are like thumb texters. Some of you are swiping. Get your comments in. All right, we got 5, 4, 3. Come on, type a little bit faster. I don't care about spelling. 3, 2, and 1. All right, now is time to reveal who drafted each one of these teams. Let's go ahead and go back to team number 1, the Lamb of Godwin. If you voted for this team down below in the comment section, you picked the team of Taylor. That's right, the guy who makes everything look good on the channel. He's the one who drafted this team if you selected it. Team number 2 was Amon-Ra Doggin. If that's the team that you commented for down below in the comment section, congratulations, that's my team that I drafted. Now, maybe you didn't vote for mine. Maybe you voted for the 3rd team, which was My Third Leggett. And if you did, you just voted for Kyle's team that he drafted. Now, maybe you're like, no, Jake, I voted for team number 4, Rock Out with Your Brock Out. You're one of those that really love rookies as well. And if you voted for this team was drafted by Mac. Now, if you voted for the 5th team, which was 99 Problems But a Pitts Ain't One, you selected the same team that was drafted by Devin. You probably don't even know Devin, but he's behind the scenes making some of our graphics look great as well. Which then only leaves us our 6th and final team, and by process of elimination, you know who's left. If you voted for How I Metcalf Your Mother, you picked the team that was drafted by the Doc, Ethan. Now, I would love to go through the comment section and total up all the total votes. Maybe that's something I can have my kids do, because I would love to see which team received the most overall votes. But hopefully you had fun in today's show. It's always cool to go through different teams and find out different people's thought processes. Just a reminder, go post your teams on Instagram or X and tag us in the post so we can take a look at your team as well. But I'm going to go ahead and get out of here for the day. Hopefully you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and then most importantly, do your part to make the world a better place.
Analytics off the chain, all the channels not the same. Jake and Kyle, you know the name. Headliner Nation, we running the game.